Why are there different mitzvahs or different requirements for men and for women? You know, in an age when we're hypersensitive about gender issues and equality, every difference, every distinction is going to be threatening. But it needn't be. The way to think about it, unless you're hypersensitive and just reacting, it's not why men have different mitzvahs than women. Men are men, women are women. Why do we come from different planets? The real question is, what is it about the mitzvah that applies only to men? So we shouldn't be asking, well, what's wrong with women? Why can't women do this? It's not why can't women do this. The question is, why is this mitzvah limited in the way that it's limited? So you back up a little bit. There are certain mitzvahs that are universal. They apply to Jews, non-Jews, men, women, children, everybody. Don't steal. Universal. Keep Shabbos? Only Jews. What is it about Shabbos that makes it less universal? So instead of when you hear Shabbos is only for Jews, you say, well, what's wrong with non-Jews? That's not the right question. The real question is, there are universal commandments, and then there are commandments that are not universal. Why? What is it about the commandment? If you understand the commandment, it'll make sense that it only applies under certain conditions, it only applies to certain people, and so on. Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue that there's a difference between men and women, because that sounds like a ridiculous conversation. Men are men, women are women. Therefore, if a mitzvah has a certain quality to it or a certain personality to it, it will either fit better for men or it'll fit better for women. So if it's a feminine kind of mitzvah, well, then it'll apply better to women. If it's a masculine kind of mitzvah, it'll apply to men. What is the difference in those mitzvahs? There are mitzvahs that are time-oriented and there are mitzvahs that are space-oriented. Some mitzvahs apply to space, like the mezuzah on your door. Right? It's the place, it's not an event, it's not a time. But then there are those mitzvahs that are time-oriented. There's a certain section of time that this mitzvah works, and at other times it doesn't work. Now, time and space are male and female. Time is male, space is female. Yin and yang, or whatever title you want to give it. So those mitzvahs that are feminine apply to women. Those mitzvahs that are masculine apply to men. So it's not everything is political. We've got to get over this Marxist concept that everything is about power. Not everyone is concerned with power. Mitzvahs are concerned with what serves God's purpose best. It has nothing to do with gender wars or with race wars. Not everything is a power struggle. Some things are just right. So that's what the approach should be. What is it about this mitzvah? Not what is it about men and women. We know what men and women are. Right? But then also there's the reverse side of sexism or racism. If a man says to a woman, you know, we can be good friends, just friends, because I don't really think of you as a woman. So let's just be friends. Well, the woman should say, if you don't think of me as a woman, who do you want to be friends with? Because I'm a woman. So there's an inherent insult in that attitude. Who are you talking to if you don't think of me as a woman? Which very much is like this non-Jewish friend of mine who says, you know, I'm not really comfortable with Jews. But with you, I don't know, it's like I don't even think of you as a Jew. I didn't take that as a compliment. In fact, now I don't understand anything at all. You say you're my friend, but you don't think of me as a Jew, then who are you a friend with? Then who am I to you? So dismissing or ignoring a person's gender is not a compliment. It is not a virtue. This is not progress in human behavior, human relations. We have to recognize people for what they are and celebrate it. Treat me accordingly. If you're talking to me, you're talking to a Jew, and speak accordingly. Give me a little credit for who I am. But to dismiss everyone's individual identity or group identity, this is not getting better. People are not getting better, they're getting worse. It's becoming more and more detached from reality. We're becoming more and more impersonal in our relationships. It's becoming pornographic. So the opposite should be our interest and our devotion. Who are you? And let me respect that and treat you accordingly. So the fact that God recognizes the difference and says, I'll give you mitzvahs in consideration of your masculinity, I'll give you mitzvahs in consideration of your femininity, it's such a compliment. Because, I am what I am. Don't ignore me. Back in the 70s, there was a woman at our program who was rebelling against the femininity of women. I'm just a person. And so she really neglected herself. And she was hard to look at. And really, distastefully. But she needed to talk privately. So we went into a room, my office, and she was sitting next to the door. She closed the door. I said, no, leave the door open a little bit. She said, why? So I said, because, a man and a woman shouldn't be alone in a closed room. She started to sob, like really. And I thought I offended her. Like, what was I suspicious of her intentions or whatever? But when she finally calmed down, she said, you're the first person to treat me like a woman. To ignore the gender is such an insult. And I can just imagine most people would say to her, most men would say to her, I don't really think of you as a woman. Not my type. So that's it. So now you can dismiss her womanhood? It's not nice.
Thanks for watching. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell below for daily pearls of Jewish wisdom.